Hey guys, it's Kelly from my Purple Brick Road. I am just dropping off a quick homesteading video for you today. And just a reminder, we are rookie homesteaders, so most of our videos about homesteading are going to be fail videos. But I wanted to share with you guys what we've learned in our first 4 weeks of having chicks and ducklings, okay? The reason I'm sharing this is because I did all the reading. You guys, I've been researching having these guys for a year, okay? An entire year. And I definitely think I was as prepared as I possibly could have been, but there were a few things that we learned in doing that I didn't learn from all of the reading and watching YouTube videos that I did. So I just kind of wanted to share those things with you. So the first thing that kind of caught me off guard was just how much energy and I don't know, I guess how many of our personal resources or my personal resources they would end up taking up, especially in the first couple of weeks. I mean, you guys, I tend to be a worrywart, but it was constant. Just, how are the chicks? Are they doing okay? What was that sound? Do they have enough food? Do they have enough water? Am I putting enough, am I putting the right stuff in their food? Do they need scratch? Are they old enough for treat? I mean, it's been constant. Especially for those first couple of weeks. Like, I would get up in the middle of the night to check on my kids and also check on the chicks and the ducklings. So that I wasn't really prepared for. It's not really like when you plant a garden and you just like plant it there and then it's fine and you kind of think about it once in a while and you take care of it every day, but really between those times you don't really think about it that much. So lots of worrying about these little girls. So the other thing that I learned was that I had seen was the brooder. Okay, so I had seen online on the forums and on Pinterest all these adorable little pictures of these brooders made out of Rubbermaid bins. And they looked like they worked really well, and they do work really well. For us, they worked really well. It worked really well for about 1 week. 7 days after we got them, I was hauling in the big dog crate and getting them out of that little bin. We had 6 chicks and 2 ducklings. So probably if we hadn't had the ducklings in there with them, hold on. We live way too close to a road, you guys, and it's a busy road. Anyway, if we hadn't had the ducks in with them, I think the chicks probably would have made it maybe another week. But they grow so fast, you guys. I cannot believe how quickly these guys have grown. The chicks and the ducks especially, and I'll show you guys, I'll show you everybody in a few minutes. But yeah, so the adorable Rubbermaid brooder lasted for all of a week, and then it was just too small for everybody. So we brought up a big dog crate that we aren't using anymore for our dog. And it is working really well. So we have them in, so our family room and dining room is basically just one big room, and I have them sort of between the family room area and the dining room area. And I did that because the kids are going to be largely responsible for kind of taking care of the chickens. They're very involved on our homestead. And I wanted to make sure that the chickens would be used to them and that the ducks would be used to them and that they would all be friendly. Because I cannot tolerate animals that are going to be intimidating or hurting my kids, obviously. So, so that's another thing in terms of resources. We pet them a lot. We hold them and interact with them a lot every day so that they're nice and used to us. So the dog crate brings me to my next painful lesson that we learned, and that is your beloved family dog may be a chicken killer. We lost one of our 6 chicks the day after I put them in the dog crate. I had put up chicken wire around the outside of the dog crate that is in our living room, mostly because I was worried that they were possibly going to be able to get through there or get tangled up in there or something between the bars. But I didn't put it on the door of the dog crate, and we all went outside for a few minutes. I mean, literally, you guys, it was like 5-10 minutes. And I came back in, and I only had 5 chicks. I thought maybe that one had gotten out, just maybe I had left the door open or something. And then that night we found her, our dog had left her in our bed. So that it was like a homesteading house of horrors that evening. So we have put up an extra layer of security around their pen, and the dog goes in his crate anytime that door is open. And just, it was a hard lesson for my kids to learn. It was really hard to not look at poor little Fred in a different light, because he's just a dog. He's a beagle. He's been bred, and early on in his life, I know he was trained to be a hunting dog. So he's a rescue dog, and we don't intend for him to be a working dog on our homestead. We don't anticipate he's going to protect our flock or anything like that. But I honestly didn't realize that he was going to do that. So hard lesson learned. If you have a dog, or if you have toddlers. Ooh, my toddler too. She's all about the chicks. So if you have a dog or really small kids, you have to already be thinking about security for your flock even before they go outside. So that was something else we learned the hard way. So something else was that I read all the stuff, you guys. Everybody said ducks are messy. I was like, I have 4 kids. I can handle the mess. Not afraid of a little mess. It's fine. Some people said ducks are very messy. Okay, no big deal. You guys, seriously, messy and very messy do not come close to describing the ducks. Okay? Not only do they fling water everywhere, but their poop is gross. You guys, it smells terrible. It's gross to clean up. It's just, they are so gross. When they eat, they get their food everywhere. They're constantly splashing water all over the place. They are actually no longer in with our chicks. Which is another thing that I was sort of prepared for, was that your animals will not choose a time to get injured that is convenient for you. So we did have, about 2 weeks ago, we had an incident where I don't know what happened, but one of our ducks, she got some sort of an injury. It was a very little injury just on the tip of her wing, but it bled. So of course the chicks started pecking at her, and so I had to get her and the other duck out because they cannot be separated for anything. So that was a big 2 hours out of the middle of my day that I had to get them out. I had to administer first aid and make sure she was okay. I had to keep them separated while I set up a separate pen for them. They are now in my laundry room, because in our basement, because that's the only other place that I have that's big enough for those girls to hang out until the weather warms up enough and they get enough feathers to come outside all the time. So so I was kind of prepared for that, but we did have our first sort of homestead injury happen to one of our animals. So I was kind of prepared for that, but it is true. They don't choose a time that's convenient for you. Something else, speaking of the mess, I did not know that chicks are messy. Chicks are very messy. Did you know that? They make dust, and they make a lot of dust. And also, now that they're getting their big girl feathers, they've had big girl feathers for a while, but they're definitely getting lots of big girl feathers right now. All that little downy feathers are coming out. So I have feathers floating out all over my living room. But yeah, they make a lot of dust. So that's something else that I did not realize, was not prepared for. I figured we'd have, some pine shavings on the floor here and there, but the furniture in that room is covered in dust. My garden box that I had with my little garden light on top of the dog crate, the plants were all covered with dust. I had to hose them off. So lots of dust from the chicks. So just know that ducks are messy and chicks make dust that then ends up on all of your furniture if you have them in your house. So the last thing, and this is something I knew, but we've now experienced, is just that they need you to take care of them. Even when you're tired, even when you're sick, even when you don't feel like it, or, you know, you've got other things to do. These guys have been pretty time consuming to take care of in a life that doesn't have a lot of wiggle room for time. We have a lot of things going on. We definitely have time for them, and I don't regret getting them, but there have been a couple of times that that was nice, that I have come home from other things at like 10 o'clock, 10:30 at night. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I've been going all day, but I'm the person in our family who really takes care of the day-to-day operation of our homestead. I do all the gardening, and I homeschool the kids, and I take care of the house, and I take care of the animals now that we have them. So, you know, coming home at 10:30 at night, I'm exhausted. I'm so tired. I still had to clean out their pens. I still had to feed them and make sure they had clean water. I still had to spend a little bit of time with them, just holding them and petting them, you know, because I need to be able to pick them up. I need to be able to touch them and be in there with them. So, you know, there was another day I was sick. I wasn't feeling very well. A couple of the kids have kind of been sick with like ear infections and things. And even when your life gets busy and even when you're tired, you still have to take care of them because that's what they need you to do. So, so that has been something, obviously I knew that that was going to happen, but we've now experienced that, and it's a little bit, yeah, I mean, it's just, you got to do it, right? Your garden, you know, you don't have to water it at 10:30 at night. You know, maybe it can go an extra day without having any attention given to it if you're not feeling well. But when it comes to those animals, they need you to take care of them. And then finally, the last thing that I honestly, you guys, was not prepared for was that these little guys, you would not think that a creature that has such a tiny little brain could have such a huge personality, but they do. Oh my gosh, you guys, each one of our chicks and both of our ducks, they all have their own individual personalities. I have one chick that is, we should have named her Houdini, because she, the minute that door to that dog crate opens, she is out. She is climbing up on me. She's now beginning to sort of like, she made it over to the chair last night before I was like, had to put the limit, set up the boundaries and make her come back, bring her back over. But I have one chick who's very noisy, and she's got a little sass to her. We have one chick, oh, that's something else, you guys. Just because you go to the store and you buy the chicks and they tell you that they're all girls, I'm like 99% sure that one of our girls is actually a rooster. This chick, it's feathering slower. Its legs, either it's a rooster or it's from another breed, and it got mixed up with my little Dixie Rainbows, because his body isn't really bigger, but he stands more erect. He's way slow to feather. His comb and his wattles are already turning red, whereas none of the others were doing any of this. His legs seem really long, like above his little knees. They're very long and very thick and feathery. And despite the fact that his body right now seems a little smaller than the others, which may just be because he doesn't have his big girl feather, his big chicken feathers. But his body seems smaller than the others, but his feet are huge compared to the size of, in relation to the size of his body when we look at that. So that's the other thing. And also, I kind of am starting to suspect that one of our two ducks, so we named them Lucy and Ethel. I think Ethel is going to have to be renamed to Desi, because one of them is quite a bit bigger than the other one. And I don't know if it's just because she happens to be bigger than the other one, or if we got a boy. I don't know. We could have got 2 boys because the ducklings were unsexed. I was just like, cross your fingers, hope for the best. I'd like at least one that lays eggs. So, oh, listen. The neighbor's rooster is out there. He's giving his 2 cents. So that's the other thing, you guys. I'm pretty sure either I got one that isn't the same breed as my others, even though they said it was, or I'm pretty sure this is a boy chicken and not a girl chicken. So understand that. For us, it's okay because we were sort of planning to do hens this year and then maybe add a rooster next year. It looks like we're possibly going to be having a rooster this year, so that's okay for us. I don't think we're going to have to get rid of him because clearly other people who live around us have roosters, so it's not an issue with the neighbors. But that's the other thing, you guys. Just because it says all girls doesn't mean necessarily, does not guarantee that they're all going to be girls. So I'm going to take you guys inside and show you guys the ducks and the chickens, so you can kind of see. Remember, they're 4 weeks old. They are pretty big, so let's go see what's going on with them. Hey duckies! Alright guys, so these are the ducks. Let's see, that one is Lucy, this one is Ethel, maybe, or maybe it's Desi, we don't know. But you can see, you guys, I cleaned out this pen. I cleaned out their pen this morning. I cleaned it out twice a day. And look, just all here where, that is the radius of their water mess. And this morning, it actually went all the way out. I mean, it was crazy. You can see all their poops. They're gross. So, these are the girls, we think, probably, maybe. I don't know. Ethel's really big. So anyway, they're adorable. They've now outgrown swimming in our shower. And so I'm hoping that we can get them moved outside. Their run and their house are ready for them. But the weather, I just don't think the weather is warm enough for them yet. They still have, so like the feathers, they still have a lot of their downy feathers on their heads, between their wings, and then on their sides. I mean, really their bodies, up underneath their chest and their bellies, seem to have are pretty feathered out, but they still have a lot of that little duckling fuzz under their wings and around their wings. So we're waiting until the weather warms up a little bit to let them go outside. They're pretty shy. They will let me hold them if I bring them treats. So, and look at that. Look how gross their water is. You guys, I just changed that water. I mean, like literally just changed it not that long ago. So, they're super messy. Okay, so as you guys can see, I have layered security. So the baby gate keeps the dog and the toddler away, but they also have, I don't know if you can see, they also have chicken wire on the sides, and then they have I put cardboard inside. So these are the chickens. Oh look, they're all over here because they think I'm bringing them treats. Hurry. Sorry girls. See this one right here? That one in the middle? That is Rex, and I'm pretty sure that he is our boy. These aren't really taller than the others, but he just looks different. It's like that old Sesame Street. One of these things is not like the others. So here are the girls. Usually when I open this, they all climb up right here on this cardboard. And they've got their roost up there. And they love to get up on top of the water bottle and look out. The water, so sweet. Here, this is Donna. She's our sassy one. Donna Noble. If you're a sci-fi nerd, you'll know where that name came from. Also, oh look, there's Rex back there. See, he looks different from the other ones. I'm pretty sure he's got to be a boy. And if you're wondering about Rex, also if you're a sci-fi nerd, you'll know what I mean when I tell you his actual name. His full name is Rex Falcipatorius. Here's Jessica Jones. He is trying to figure out that swing. We put the full swing in there. He's trying. So see, and you guys probably can't tell. I don't know if you can, if the camera's picking up. I have feathers all over my house. And there's Fred. No chickens, Fred. See, he knows. So those are the chickies. And they're big, you guys. They're 4 weeks old. Everybody's like 4 weeks and 4 days old. And they're pretty big. They're also super friendly. They love to come out and be held and all of that. So, yeah, so that's the chickens.